Settle in, little dreamers, because tonight we begin a tale woven with starlight, soft wishes, and a touch of ancient magic. A tale about a princess whose destiny was shaped long before she took her very first breath. This is the beginning of Sleeping Beauty. Long ago, in a peaceful kingdom surrounded by rolling green hills and forests that whispered secrets to the wind, a king and queen waited many years for a child. They wished, they hoped, and they dreamed. And one bright morning, when the sun rose like a golden crown over the castle towers, their wish finally came true. A baby girl was born, with cheeks as rosy as dawn and eyes that sparkled like morning dew. The kingdom erupted in joy. Bells chimed from every tower, ribbons fluttered from windows, and people danced in the streets. The king and queen decided to hold a grand celebration. Not just any celebration, but the most magnificent gathering the kingdom had ever seen. They invited everyone: nobles, villagers, travelers, musicians, and of course the gentle fairies who lived deep within the enchanted forest. These fairies were known for their kindness and their shimmering gifts, each one a blessing wrapped in magic. When the day arrived, the castle glowed with lanterns and laughter. The baby princess lay in a cradle carved from moonlit wood, wrapped in blankets soft as clouds. One by one, the fairies stepped forward to offer their gifts. The first fairy touched the baby's tiny hand and whispered, "I give you the gift of kindness, so your heart will always shine warm and bright." The second fairy brushed a fingertip across the princess's forehead. "I give you the gift of courage, so you may face the unknown with steady steps." The third fairy sprinkled a dusting of sparkling light. "I give you the gift of joy, so laughter will follow you wherever you go." The hall filled with soft gasps of wonder. Everything felt perfect, almost too perfect. Just as the fourth fairy stepped forward, a sudden gust of cold wind swept through the hall. The lanterns flickered, the music stopped, and from the shadows emerged a tall, cloaked figure, a fairy, but not one who had been invited. Her eyes glimmered like storm clouds, and her voice echoed with a chill as she spoke. "A celebration." "And yet you forgot me." The king and queen trembled. They had not meant to offend her, but the fairy's pride had been wounded, and her magic was sharp. She raised her staff and the air crackled. "On the princess's 16th birthday, she shall prick her finger on a spindle and fall into a sleep so deep, not even time will dare to wake her." Gasps filled the hall. The queen clutched her child. The king stepped forward, pleading, but the dark fairy vanished in a swirl of smoke, leaving only silence behind. For a moment, no one moved. Then the last fairy, the youngest, the gentlest, stepped forward. Her wings trembled, but her voice was steady. "I cannot undo the spell," she said softly, "but I can soften it. The princess will sleep." "Yes, but one day she will awaken when the moment is right and hope is near." A sigh of relief swept through the hall, though fear still lingered like a shadow. From that day on, the king and queen did everything they could to protect their daughter. They ordered every spinning wheel in the kingdom to be locked away. They posted guards at every tower. They watched her with loving, worried eyes. But the princess grew up happy, unaware of the danger that hovered over her like a quiet cloud. She loved exploring the gardens, chasing butterflies, and listening to stories told by the castle's kind old librarian. She was gentle, brave, and full of laughter, just as the fairies had wished. As the years passed, the kingdom relaxed. The spell felt distant, almost forgotten. The princess grew into a curious young girl with a heart full of wonder. And then her 16th birthday arrived. The morning of her birthday was bright and cheerful. The castle bustled with excitement, cooks preparing feasts, musicians tuning their instruments, servants decorating the halls with flowers. The princess wandered through the castle, humming softly. Everything felt magical, as if the day itself were smiling. But then she heard something. A faint humming sound. A soft, rhythmic whirring, like a lullaby sung by a machine. It drifted from a staircase she had never noticed before, a narrow, winding stairway leading up to a forgotten tower. Curiosity tugged at her heart. She climbed the steps slowly, each one creaking under her feet. At the top, she found a small wooden door. The humming grew louder. She pushed the door open. Inside the room, bathed in a strange golden glow, stood an old spinning wheel. Its spindle shimmered like a star. An elderly woman sat beside it, turning the wheel with gentle hands. "Come closer, child," the woman said, her voice soft and inviting. "Would you like to see how it works?" The princess stepped forward, drawn by the glow, the sound, the mystery. She reached out, her finger brushed the spindle, and in that instant the spell awakened. The princess's eyes fluttered. She swayed. And then, like a falling petal, she sank into a peaceful sleep. The magic spread through the castle like a sigh. One by one, the cooks, the guards, the musicians, everyone drifted into slumber. Even the flames and the lanterns froze mid-flicker. The kingdom grew quiet, still, waiting for the day the softened spell would finally break. And that, dear listeners, is where our first chapter ends. The princess sleeps, the kingdom rests, and the vines of time begin to curl around the castle walls. But magic never stops moving. And hope never stops searching. If you wish to discover who will brave the enchanted forest, who will reach the sleeping princess, and how the spell will finally break, then subscribe and join me for part 2 of Sleeping Beauty.